Hello, folks, and yeah, I decided that after a lot of thought here, I was going to do an abridged for the different games in the series. They're like Fallout games and stuff, kind of similar to what Cry does on his channel. So we're going to see how that goes. I guess I get a feeling that I'm going to wind up repeating myself a lot until I finally get it down on what I'm supposed to be saying here. So hope you enjoy. So Misao is a game developed by a guy named Sen, who coincidentally also made the game Mad Father, another well-known and effective RPG horror game that has scared the pants off of countless jump scare lovers across the internet.
Okay. Eek. Yeah, my feeling. Ah!
But I digress. The game begins with you playing as a girl named Aki, who for some unknown reason seems entirely infatuated with the thought of being friends with a girl named Misao, who seemingly went missing shortly before the start of the game, chronologically speaking anyway. At the get-go, you actually forget entirely that this is a horror game because of the fact that it just starts out like any other fucking anime TV show that you've ever seen in some sort of a school theme to its...
Yoshino. Oh, well, you look like a rotten bitch. There's been some spooky paranormal business going on at this... Okay, here's where it's gonna begin with a ghost story.
Seriously, it felt like I was watching the beginning of High School of the Dead all over again before shit hit the fan. And coincidentally, just like High School of the Dead, shit certainly hits the fan. The game makes every attempt to get serious in a way that can best be explained as the introduction to fucking Corpse Party. I mean, literally. Starts out with a ghost story, everybody gets paranoid, and before you know it, the entire school gets thrown into a parallel dimension in which everybody you know and love starts dying off one at a time. Fantastic. Shortly after waking up in this hellish universe, you meet a mystery guy by the name of Mr. Onigawara, the class president of your school that bears an uncanny resemblance to another character that Sen used in Mad Father, Baldies Unite. When shit gets real and he gives you the real, complete lowdown of your situation in this place, you now bear the responsibility of undoing the curse that has been set upon your school by Misao as an act of vengeance. You alone must put an end to this curse. Why? Because you're the fucking main character and any real potential to shut up and get shit done is only on you. Why the hell not? In this somewhat lengthy cutscene, you also run into perhaps one of the goofiest and most socially inept people I have ever met in a video game in my life. Baldy simply calls her by the name Library, which thankfully you get the privilege to rename her later on down the line when you meet her for the first time in the library. A place that took me far longer than it should have in order to find. Seriously, between that and the goddamn save point, it probably took around 3 episodes of footage to figure out, and he told me how to find both of them at the start of the game. So, that's a good one on me right there. One facepalm and a V8 later, I decided upon one of my favorite highlights in my YouTube career thus far in renaming this character.
This library is kinda awkward, though. I want to know your real name. Well then, Misaki, please give me an easier name. Yes, I want a marvelous name. We're going to call her Flupsy. Oh my god, I can name her. Yes, it's going to be Flupsy. Oh my god, that just made my fucking night.
Naturally, chosen to be Flupsy, which is an inside joke of mine that I might go over later, who easily became one of my favorite characters to be used in any RPG game I have played to date, despite the fact that she is really more of a pet than a person and that I rarely spell her name properly with any actual consistency. I still decided to love Flupsy with all of my heart and have given her quite a few shoutouts, honestly. She's like Tiny Box Tim.
Oh, look at this tiny box! Oh, it's so tiny! Oh, I'm gonna call you Tiny Box Tim. You're gonna come with me on an adventure, Tiny Box Tim. Maybe I gotta smash you open and the key's inside you. No, I'd never hurt you. I would never hurt you, my little biscuit.
So back to the story where we start searching around this gigantic fucking school to find out what it is that we have to do. Besides finding death around every corner, there are quite a few character deaths that you actually witnessed that were part of the initial class at the start of the game. Some being far more gruesome than the others, and some are just outright hilarious, to be rather honest with you.
Perfect, now I can get that. Okay, I guess that's how this works. Alrighty then. Oh, the shift key is supposed to be the safe. Okay, apparently she died!
The game has so many traps in it that it actually puts an Egyptian burial tomb to shame, and the game goes as far to implement a killer rose bush.
Got pricked by a rose thorn. Oof. The rose was poisoned. It courses through Aki's. What the fuck, really? Okay. Herc. That's a character.
Wandering around long enough in the game will inevitably lead you to finding your first Misao part. Literally, as the name suggests, it's a part of Misao's dead corpse, and there are 6 of these goddamn things all around the school, as if the game wasn't already disturbing enough. To continue the trend of disturbing shit on top of that, upon Yoshino's death in the game, and after some rather ridiculous dialogue, I must say,
I'd like to help you, but you're always bullying people. Huh? Why would that be relevant in this time right now? There's people dying, bodies everywhere. There's apparently fucking mandrakes in this room somewhere that scream and kill you. And the only thing that you're caring about is, I'm not going to help you because you're a mean person. If you promise not to bully weak people anymore, then I'll be... Really? We're really doing this right now.
you become covered in blood from head to toe, hiding in a nearby corpse that your character seems to offer absolutely no hesitation by climbing inside of. This is actually a mechanic in the game that gets used for both the reaction of your fellow classmates and the teacher, as well as finding another Misao part. Glorious. More wandering! The game also features some puzzles in it as well, one of them being the most obscure fucking thing I have ever had the misfortune to Google over the internet. I would never have found that puzzle out by normal means. I cannot stress that enough. After scouring the school for body parts, items, and even tranquilizers. Seriously, tranquilizer.
I think I have a tranquilizer on my desk in the staff room. Could you bring it to me? Who the fuck brings a tranquilizer to a school?
You finally managed to start a ritual to reverse the curse, and surprise! It didn't work. Onigawara tells you later on that the ritual requires another sacrifice in order to be completed. This decision has you to choose to club the holy hell out of either Mr. Soda or Totoma with your trusty baseball bat that seems to hunger for blood everywhere that it goes. In doing so and returning to the ritual zone, Misao thanks you one good time before you get a lengthy-ass cutscene to conclude the game. You receive a good or bad end, depending on who is sentenced to death, the good end belonging to killing Soda, a creepy motherfucker that I never trusted from the get-go because of his character sprite. I knew he was a piece of shit. The scene shows all the backstory you'd been missing the whole entire game, which tells you all about how Misao went missing in the first place. Turns out she was murdered the whole time and chopped up into pieces and all the like. Great! The scene basically just has you placing your hand over your head the whole time, thinking that she literally had the worst day a person could have on the planet. And you thought that your Mondays were bad. There is also a hidden chapter in this game in which you play further in order to save the souls of the lives taken by Misao's curse during the main game scenario. It's purely for backstory and the gameplay is completely linear, but nonetheless I completed it with full enjoyment. It even shed some obvious light on how Ayaka died. This leads to the one true ending to Misao, where it seems to me like the main character sacrifices her own life to ensure that Misao does not go alone. Or at least that's how I saw it, I'm not entirely sure really. All in all, it's still quite a stretch for a person that you rarely spoke to back in high school. This then gives you access to a secret room with a bunch of other goodies and backstory shit involving game development that can only be accessed by using a super secret password that you receive in the most difficult to obtain ways. By loading your fucking save from the bald guy. Beyond this, there really isn't anything else to say about Misao beyond that last interesting part at the very end when you try to give your thanks to the bald and incredibly overage-looking student council president that we've been talking about quite a bit up to this point in time, who allegedly never existed. Neat! So yeah, let's conclude this video then. Have some more flups.
Take it easy, guys.